Alright, this is video 4 of replacing the control arm bushings. Here's a detail that I wanted to show you. It came with the kit for the bushings. Let's see if I can get that up there. I think you can see that alright. The one that's circled there, here, is the bushing that connects the sway bar, the stabilizer bar, into the control arm. And I wanted to point out that that is a tapered bushing, and also the control arm is tapered toward the middle there. Here's the old bushing here. You can see how it's tapered in the middle. And I used a 17 millimeter socket to push that through on my press. Whereas on the bushing that ties in to the head frame, I used a 27 millimeter, and that's the old bushing there that I took out. I guess you can see that. And those are the two sizes I used, 27 and 17 millimeter. I also, this bushing was an original bushing, I believe, and there was a flange on there, and I took a hacksaw and went around that flange and cut it off so I wouldn't have to push the flange through the control arm as well when I did that. I wanted to mention that. I had a little bit of trouble on reassembly. Where the control arm goes into the head frame, and I had a comment on this, it is pretty tight because these bushings are a little wider than the original ones were, or it appears that way. So I put a little grease on there, and I installed one side first, then I went to the other side, and I put a strap on the bottom of the wheels to force the whole thing together. And I took a rubber hammer and knocked the other control arm into the head frame. I'll bring the camera down there and show you exactly what I did. I assembled everything first, all on one side, including the sway bar, and just started the bolts in the sway bar, or the stabilizer bar. Same thing on both sides. Put it all together like that, and left the one arm off the passenger side to the head frame. And then I took a ratchet strap, put it in there, and tightened it up, and hammered it in, and it worked just fine. Now I took it to front end alignment shop. I won't mention their name. And this time they charged me $56. Last time I think I told you it was $39, but they've gone up in their price, or I caught a special before. But you know, I'd check prices on that if you're worried about that. But anyway, it took care of all the shimmy. Now it's nice and tight and runs real good. I've had this thing for about a year. When I first got it, it had the pretty good shimmy in it, and it was the typical cause there. It was the bushing on the idler arm, which I replaced. And it worked fine for a year. I had no trouble with it. But then I started getting a little more shimmy and going around corners, and it get worse and worse. And what it was the bushing. It was actually the main bushing to the from the control arm to the head frame that wore pretty bad. So that's why I had to replace it. Now it's all nice and tight and running good. So I'm going to take the camera down and show you how I put that back together. Alright, try and get down here. There's a ratchet strap I used right there. I had to put a little chain on that side. Of course, I got the empty wheels on there, so I had no problem getting a chain through there. They're spoked. And you can see there, that's where the sway bar ties in there, the new bushing there. And there's the control arm that I put in last. I assembled all of this first, and then this one I put in there, and I pulled this ratchet tight to hold it in place, and I just banged it up in there, and I had to use a little bit of a little drift pin to kind of line it up a little bit through that hole where the camber bolt goes. But other than that, I consider it an easy job, and sure solved the problem. Alright, hope that helps somebody out there.